How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is time to do some animation, time to talk about the creative process, time to get into some imaginative stuff, time to play around and get into our minds and see what we can come up with. For today's inspiration, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about today. And then I just randomly started. Well, I saw this little rig guy. I think his name is Dewi. It's from the Creative Crash. And for some reason, it just sparked in my mind, and I started thinking about Gary Larson. If you're not familiar with him, he's an awesome comic strip artist. And I found this little quote from him that I thought was really, really great. You know those little snow globes that you shake up? I always thought that my brain was sort of like that. You know, where you just give it a shake and watch what comes out and shake it again. It's like that. And I thought that was kind of a really interesting way to talk about the creative process and to think of it that way. I know sometimes, at least for myself, it's a lot like that. It's just, and I think that's one of the ways that I personally like to work too, is like, well, I like the kind of improvisation of art and animation, and you don't really get a lot of that because a lot of times it really has to be, you know, this amount of frames and this hit these beats at this time and everything. And I think there's something to just get creative and just be loose and play with it. If you're not familiar with Gary Larson, he did the Farside comics. They're hilarious, great stuff here. I'll just flip through a couple of his drawings and comics. Definitely check him out. You can Google him and get just check that out. That's great. A bunch of vultures sitting around with the sign that says, "Yes, we're open." Anyways, definitely check it out. Pick up a copy of one of his books if you can. Really great. So anyways, like I said, this is the Dewi Rig. It's from the wonderful folks over at Creative Crash. It's a free rig you can grab. I will throw a link to it in the information below. And today we'll be using Maya 2010. I apologize if I'm a little off today. I didn't get much sleep last night, but that's okay. So for this series, what we've been doing is just grabbing a free rig. I've never used this rig before. And we just opened it up. We're going to give ourselves about an hour. Yesterday went a little long, but kind of an hour and a half, and play around and see what we can get, what we can come up with, what kind of ideas get sparked. And we'll talk about animation, kind of give some tutorial stuff as well. And yeah, so with that being said, let's create a cube, a little place for him to stand on and walk, and let's get into this rig. Definitely a little pretty cool little guy here. Let's see, it's just the shoulder. Do they have like an IK or an FK on here, or is it just what we got? That's like a stretch. That's kind of crazy. What about here? What's this breather? What's that do? Oh, it's a little belly on there. Just the elbows. Okay, I was kind of hoping that they had FK arms, but we can use IK. That's all right. Rotate those down. We'll try and get a good looking first pose here. And let's go ahead and rotate the feet out a little bit. It's always good to have a good first storytelling pose. I think we'll try and make this guy a little more comical, a little more crazy, since we were talking about Gary Larson earlier. I'm gonna try and get some of that in here. Let's see. This is gonna be the jaw, right? Do they have an eyelid somewhere? What they do? controller, but that's alright. They actually have it on the lid itself. Kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of like a minion type character. This is an older rig though. I think this one was from 2007. So definitely, I think that predates Despicable Me, doesn't it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. It is kind of strange that they don't have the FK option here. It's wired. Nope, we want to do that. Let's see if we can get into the jaw here. See if we can raise that up. Can we do that? Because I could give him a big smile if we can. Maybe we can pull that belly in a little bit more. No? Let's see. And rotate. Maybe we just can't get as big of a smile there. That's okay. Always do. Something more like this. Let's see. These two are going to be the chest controllers. No, I don't have a. Rotate Z and X are a little bit different than I'm used to, but that's okay. Zero those out again. Looks like we can't do as wide of a mouth. It's just not getting as pleasing of a shape, I don't think, there. And let's get a better hand pose here. Grab all these, we'll rotate it in a little bit. And give it a little bit of rotate Y, rotate X there. trying to get a good little bit of a smile and open mouth here because I like that idea. But we don't want to get too much broken or deformation in there. Does they have like an upper lip? No. Yeah, we gotta get the weight balance back here a little bit more. Let's raise that up a little bit more. Pull it in a little bit. Pull that down a little bit. Over a little bit. Let's use this as our main hip and head. And we'll just add a little bit of accents and stuff there, I guess. Trying to figure out what a good way of doing that is. Oh, they do have some. Okay, so we can get some of that stuff. Cool. There we go. Just a little bit. Oops, sorry about that. A little bit better of a smile if we could. So what if we rotated that, but then we raised it back up? Would that allow us to do that without getting so much intersection? Let's see. Let's find out. It's a really cute rig. No, we're still getting that intersection there. It just doesn't look good. Okay, let's go ahead and turn those back off. And we're going to pull that foot back a little bit. Push that foot forward a little bit. Okay, not that much obviously. It's going to be a little too broken. I'm going to grab that, it's like hips controller, move those forward. Pull it in a little bit. Pull that one in a little bit as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and save this file. Save as. Just call him Dewi. Save. And turn off our grid there. Show none, show NURB curves, show NURB surfaces, and show polygons. Let's grab everything and let's go ahead and cut this down to 48 frames that we'll work with today. And give us and go ahead and set that there. And let's grab this guy. Go ahead to 12. Put forward. Gonna lay the foundation now for our walk, so we want to get our steps in and our hips working first. I think I'd like to do kind of really tipping steps for this one. I was going to do a lot more stuff with the jaw. I was looking forward to that because I thought that would be fun, but it looks like there's kind of some strange deforming going on there, so I think we might nix that idea, even though that was my original idea for this guy. I think we'll just change it up a little bit. Still like to get a little bit of jabber in that walk, bounce, move to it, but that's okay. Looks like we lost something there. We gotta get something so we can grab those hands. So what would that be? Handles? Nope. Let's see. IK handles? Nope. Dynamic constraints? Nope. Locators? Nope. Dimensions? Nope. Pivots? Nope. Handles? Nope. Strokes? Nope. Textures? Nope. Okay, well, we're starting to narrow it down pretty well. We should start getting some. Is it a joint? Nope. Deformers, there we go. Okay, so show, non-show, nerve curves, nerve surfaces, polygons, and we want deformers. That way we can get these guys going up here. So let's see. Oh, let's go back here. Let's set a key there. Looks like we turned those off, so we want to make sure we get those back on. Set that there, and set that there, 48, okay. Finally we got basics built in there. And let's go ahead and go into our animation editor and our graph editor. Let's make sure we're still recording here. Alright. I like using 2010 version of Maya. It's really a light version compared to the 14 that I use in a lot of the other videos. This one lets me get in and frame by frame a lot better. It doesn't have as much lag in there. Still a great program either way, but I like this one especially when streaming because it has a lot less system resources that it uses. And we're just going to add a little bit of up and down into the hips. Goes up on the passing position and then back down. Let's go ahead and even out those values a little bit. Let's see. Let's go ahead and watch that. And then we want to get that foot raised up on that passing position. And back down. And raise it up here. And then back down. And get that passing position up there. Back on the ground there. Sorry about that. Hopefully that's not too loud, that error message. And let's see. Alright, now let's get some movement in those hips going. It's going to be over that planted foot, so we want to sway it over. And same over here. And then back over here. And back over there. And back again. Forget that the translate Z and translate X are different than what I'm used to here. Let's zero that back out. And I'll take those values. And little too much. Rotate X. And that will be what will help our character, build our character a little bit. He'll have kind of a waddly walk, I think will be kind of cool. Depending on the character and depending on the scene and depending on what the acting is and everything, I like to try and find one particular thing that you can really play up or play, tone down, and that can be what gives your character, makes your character walk unique. So for this guy, I think we're really going to play up the side-to-side leans on each of the steps, so he tilts back and forth a lot more than would be natural, because I think he's kind of a squatty character, so I feel like he would have to do that, really. So I think that's what, and then the rest of it, we'll keep the rest of it not vanilla, but a little more played down, so that that's really what catches the eye, or gets the eye drawn to, is that lean back and forth. Toe? Yeah, they do. Cool. Yay. Having a rig with a good toe wiggle on there, that means we can get some extra drag in those toes. Here we go. I missed that. The other rigs that I've been using don't always have that. This is a real nice light rig, so I can watch it. Okay, we're going to have to pick that foot up a lot more, because now that we have it dragging, it doesn't get off the ground as much, so we're going to have to redo the translates a little bit more, and we'll probably have to downplay some of that rotate as well. It's no good. Stop doing that. I'm hitting the values without actually getting in and selecting the thing that I want to punch the value in for. And now let's go ahead and add a little drag on this foot too. What if I did something more like that? Maybe I'll do that instead. Instead of it rotating down, it'll rotate out on those feet. Might be a better option. So maybe we'll go back and we'll redo what that foot is doing over there. Instead of have it really drag back, we'll have it drag out or sway out, and just the toe will do the drag for us that we want. Let's go ahead and watch that and see which foot we like better. Yeah, I like this one better. Okay. So let's see. Rotate. I'll put the rotate X into there. Yeah, let's go and watch that now. Bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah, it gives them kind of a wider step there. And now let's go ahead and save what we have. Just do a little Control S action there. And let's do rotate Y to favor the forward planted foot. And same over there. And over there. And over there. And over there. Let's go grab those values there. arms. It would have been nicer if we could have kept those in FK instead of IK, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get them working. You will have the head go that way. Have it like topple side to side. Rotate Y. Rotate Y. Rotate Y. And rotate Y. And rotate Y. And let's go ahead and clean up those values as well. So get our rotate Y's back working here. And I think we'll delay these head moves a frame here. For some reason, I have Kevin from The Office stuck in my head, as has Meredith, as has Kevin. I don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, link it in the comments below. Talk about it. More than welcome to. If you do like my videos, remember to rate them thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you have suggestions or comments or thoughts or criticisms or feedback, all that's welcome and appreciated as well. And working on making sure, even when I'm exhausted and tired, like today, that we get videos up every day. We want to do this, treat this like the chest and like the hips, so we want to offset those a little bit. So when the hips are favoring that forward foot, that forward shoulder is being favored forward. So there's a little bit of twist built in there now. Do a little bit of sway here. We'll get into more detail with those arms in a little bit, but just so we have a little bit of something there. Kind of a hiccup there. I think we're just doing too high of a translate there. And translate is move in space, like left, right, up, down, forward, back, versus rotate, which is twist in space. Twist in space. Yeah, it's gonna get weird today. I'm tired. Sorry about that, folks. But I'm not really, because I like being weird. Being weird's fun. And we're just going to accentuate the movement that we already have in this kind of bottom versus top by getting into that hip controller and kind of mimicking what we had already, but we're going to delay it a frame as well. So we'll keep it alive a little bit better. Let's see. And we want to delay that a frame, so let's go ahead and get in there. Yeah, let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit more. So make sure those values are still representative and good and even. Don't have to be exactly even, it's okay to have some variation, because it's still, you want it to feel like not robotic. But a little more uniform so it doesn't feel like it's really favoring one side or the other. Kind of a little more shifting of the belly there. Let's see. Here we go. Now that belly's kind of swaying a little more. Maybe we'll do the jaw like 2 frames. And that feels good, but there's not really any up and down, so let's try and get some up and down built into here. I mean, there is, but it's not enough to feel like there's more weight into that, so let's really raise it up here. Let's take what we have there and we'll delay that a frame as well. Let's see. And Larson, are they? Nope. Okay. Let's do a little rotate on that hand as well. Let's do a little bit of up and down on that jaw. We'll see which way we like favor in that. If we like it being open on those passing positions more, or open on the outward positions more for that jaw. So let's do, what was that? Rotate Z for here. So let's first minimize it a little bit more, because that's, I don't want it to look like, but a little bit of bounce to it. In case you missed that, since I'm tired today, I'm going to do, I don't even know, man. I'm tired, but that's okay. The creative process doesn't always only work when you're perfectly awake. Sometimes you come up with different things you wouldn't do normally. There we go. Maybe we could have it blink too. What do you think? What do you think? Think that would be fun? That's gonna be too slow of a blink. We'll get there. Let's go and delete that and delete that. And let's go and watch that again. Okay, let's get in our graph editor here and let's go ahead and shorten that up by 4 frames. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see. Still too slow. Shorten it by 2 frames for what we have. Too quick on the uptake. So here we go. It's good to hold for blinks to have them closed for at least 2 frames so you can feel that. And we'll do another quick one after that. let's just stick with one. It's fine. Let's do a little more. Rotate X. Let's take those. I don't need them to be too high, but something more like that. Let's go see. Maybe not so much translate X on those arms, a little bit less. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what we have going on there now. Still seems like there's a little bit of a hiccup there. It's probably just switching from that frame to that frame. Let's raise it up and bring it back down and raise it up and bring it back down and raise it up and bring it back down, raise it up and bring it back down. Is that right? Let's see. Okay, we can raise those up a little bit more. Should do a little less rotate, I think, on those ones. And maybe a little more on the opposite side here. Okay, let's see that. Do you like that or not? Maybe it's too much up and down. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just trying to fix these arms. I don't want them to be too much the center of attention, but I do like this little dip down and everything. So we're trying to find that happy medium between getting the movement that we want versus having that be the focus of our shot, which we don't want. those translate Ys a little bit more though. Let's go ahead and get those going. Now let's see how we're doing. I think I want to take the rotates, and delay the rotates a frame, maybe two, so that they're not hitting on the same thing. That's a little better. And let's take the translate X's, and let's just pull them in a little bit closer to the body on that arm there. Translate Y a little bit more on those feet as well, just so the steps are a little bit bigger. Not a ton, but a little more. Don't want them to feel like they're like flicking or scooting off the ground, but actually lifting. So. Sorry about that. Let's get back into it here. Maybe let's tilt him even further. Let's keep pushing it. And let's really get those feet up even more. And then we'll do a little bit in the hands. I feel like we could do a little bit there. Now let's do a little more sway too, which would be, I think that was translate Z on this rig. Too much. I'll have to pull it back a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Let's get a little bit on the fingers as well here. Swing out there, swing in there, swing out there, swing in here, and swing out again. Let's delay that about 2 frames and maybe not so much as well. And actually tips and the mids, and we'll delay those a frame. And just the tips. And we'll delay that a frame. And then we'll take everything on this one, and we'll delay that a frame as well. Let's see. Crank this guy up a little bit more. Do something a little more like that. Let's see. Let's see, rotate Z, maybe a little bit of rotate. Nah, it's not working. Let's get into these fingers. I want to do a little bit of upper jaw movement as well. I think we'll have to get into those extra facial controls we were messing around with a little bit ago. So let's just do these fingers before we forget about them. And then let's delay the mids and tips of the fingers a frame. And then a frame after that. Let's see. Just add a little more variety here. Just tweak up this pose a little bit more. Maybe I hit the wrong key on here. It still seems like there's a little bit of a bump there. So let's see. Where might we have gone a little astray with that one? That's because we had it keyed on 2 instead of 1. That's better. That's much better. Maybe do a little bit of hip action. We'll play with that. dual controller. Not a lot of rigs have those. And alright, I like this little guy. I think he plays pretty well. Got a nice little wobble to him. I think we were gonna try and get into doing a little bit of upper lip if we could get that to work a little bit for us. So let's grab all those controllers. And we'll set a key on one and lift it up a little bit there. And down a little bit there, up a little bit there, and down, and up, and down, and up. Just to add a little more of that squash and stretch into that lip to add a little more movement to it. And now let's go ahead and watch that and see if we did that the right way. And let's delay it a frame. I might have done a little too much, so I might have to. Yeah, that feels better. Keeps a little more life into it. Alright, I think it's going to be a little bit of a quicker one than today. I really like this guy. I feel like he's got a lot of character to him. So remember, if you do like this stuff, go ahead and throw me some thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. If there's things you think we could fix or do better, definitely leave comments down below. Check out that Larson stuff that we were talking about earlier today. And remember to keep your mind like a snow globe, shake it up, and see what comes out. And always be playful. Have fun with whatever creative thing you're working on, and we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.